Hey guys, my name's Anessa, and today we're going to be talking about birth plans and what to include in them. Most people have heard of what a birth plan is, but if you haven't, at the top of the article, there is a little explanation about what a birth plan is. Then it goes down into the two different types of birth plans. There's a written out birth plan, and then there's a visual birth plan. It goes into more detail there. We're not going to really talk about that. We're going to be talking about the different topics that you can be including. Now I'm going to start out with, I am not here to tell you this is what you should include in your birth plan. I'm not telling you that you need to be going for a natural birth. I'm not here to tell you any of those things. What I am here to tell you is you need to be informed. You need to go out and do that research. Be confident in the decisions that you're making. That way you get in there and it's not as overwhelming when topics or when words or when things come up that you don't understand. Okay, we want to be informed going into this. Okay, so we're gonna go down to the bottom of the article, and it's under topics everyone should include in your birth plan. They're not really topics. It's actually just really facts about yourself that we need to include in there. First off, your name. Obvious. We don't want to confuse patient X and patient Y and their birth plans. Put your name on there. Put your partner's name on there. That way they just know who goes with you. Your blood type, important in case hemorrhaging, or any other thing along those lines, including RH compatibility with your baby. Allergies. Do you have any medical medicine allergies, or are you allergic to latex, or are you allergic to foods that they shouldn't include in the diet that they give you after? Do you have gestational diabetes? All of these are important things. You probably already know which one of these things you fall into. Include those up at the top, just so they can keep things straight. They have a lot of people coming in sometimes, and so let's just try to make it easier for them to keep each patient straight. So now we're going to go back up to the top again, and we're going to be talking about topics that, are optional, topics that you need to decide as I'm speaking, I'm passionate about that, or I'm not passionate about that, or I really desire that as part of my birth plan or postpartum ideas, or you know what, that's not really that big of a deal for me. And both of those options are okay, all right? It's just for you to decide. First off, who do you want in the room, not want? This is kind of big because we do not want you stressed out during labor. There's already enough stressors in the room. You're in labor. So let's try to get rid of every barrier that we can. And sometimes that includes your mother-in-law, your father, your sister, your brother, your best friend, whatever. If you don't want them in that room and they are like really possibly sneaky about getting in there and they really want to be in there, you need to put that on that list. This is about you, okay? You don't need to be concerned about if you're going to hurt somebody else's feelings by not allowing them in the room. However, on the flip side, if there is people in the room that you want, including those same people, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your best friend, your doula, include those in there so that people can be aware that that's going to happen. Some hospitals only allow a certain number of people. So this will be a good way for that hospital to find out. That ties to the next one. Do you have a doula, a labor coach, any of those things? Lactation consultant that's coming in. Include that on there. Do you want music, talking, quiet? This goes to what type of experience are you envisioning having for your birth? This can change. Remember, this can change, and be open to this changing. But do you think, when you think about your birth, what are you envisioning? Are you envisioning laughing and having fun and joking and lots of loud music? Or are you thinking, hey, I need people to be quiet so I can get in the zone. If people are talking, I can't do that. Maybe some quiet music. I want the lights dim. I want the lights bright. What are you thinking for your environment? Include that in your birth plan. Vaginal exams. Do you want them to ask permission? Do you want them to do as few vaginal exams as possible? Do you want them to do it as needed? Do you not really care? Include that on your birth plan. What is important to you? Birth photography. This is important to get on your birth plan and get to your doctor early, because a lot of hospitals do not allow birth photography. So you need to get that in there and ask permission about it, see what they're thinking from the start. Also, if you don't have a birth photographer yet and you really do want one, get with me. I have an amazing birth photographer that I've worked with, and I swoon over every session she has. Plus, it's just so much fun to look back and see from a different perspective what the birth looked like. It's just fun. Delayed cord clamping. What are you thinking? Do you want delayed cord clamping for a few seconds? Do you want delayed cord clamping for a few minutes? Or are you thinking until it stops pulsating? Include that in your birth plan. If that doesn't really matter to you, just leave it out. Skin to skin. Do you want immediate skin to skin contact? Or are you like, I can wait. I can, it's okay for a little bit. Breastfeeding. Are pretty cut and dry, just like skin to skin? Do you want to breastfeed? Are you thinking formula? If you're, really hardcore on one of those, include those on your birth plan. Mobility or stay in bed. This is a big deal. What are you thinking for getting up and moving out of your bed? Are you thinking that that's what you're wanting to do, that you're going to want to sit on a birthing ball, that you're going to want to move up and down the hallways, that you're going to want to be able to move from the shower to the bed, from the shower to the bed? What are you thinking? If that is a desire, you need to include that on your birth plan. This is an important one to include. If you're thinking, I can just stay in bed the whole time, that's what seems comfortable, that's not a big deal to include in your birth plan, okay? Pain relief medicine. Epidural, or are you thinking something lighter like Tylenol? Look up some different options for the pain medicine. There's tons of options here, but people don't really know about that. Usually they just know about epidural or all natural. There's a lot in between, okay? If you are desiring to leave that as an option, put that on there. Another thing that you can include is, do you want them to offer pain medication? Okay, if you are saying, hey, I'm open to pain medication, they're probably going to keep saying, do you want something? Do you want something? Do you want something? Now, sometimes that can kind of get in your head and make you focus on that. So if you don't want them to say that, if you want to be the one that initiates that you need the pain medicine, you need to include that in your birth plan. If you want them to keep that open as an option, include that in your birth plan, okay? Include what you're thinking for pain medication. What is your goal? Now remember, this can change, and that's okay. You have to keep that healthy attitude. This can change. Fetal monitoring. Are you wanting constant monitoring? Are you thinking you want intermittent monitoring? Are you thinking that you want the type that can stick on you and then you can walk around? That's an option. Each of these are options, so you need to be thinking about that, and what do you want to include? What are you passionate about? If you're passionate about one of those three, include that on your birth plan. Get it to your doctor early to make sure that it is an option. Episiotomy, okay? Sometimes episiotomies have to happen. Sometimes they don't, okay? Sometimes you just need to try a different position. However, you need to include in your birth plan, do you want them to ask permission before they cut? Or do you want them to just go ahead and do it and not tell you that it's about to happen? Both of those have some reasonings behind it, and I can understand both, but you need to decide what you think you would like to have happen. Tub or shower? Do you want, this kind of goes back to the pain relief. Are you thinking you want to have a water birth? Are you thinking you just want to use the shower to get some heat on your back? Are you thinking you want to labor in the tub but then be on the bed for delivery? What is your passion there? Okay, you have to decide. Obviously this is something that can change, but you're going to want to get to see your doctor early so that they can talk with you about whether that's even open at that hospital or not. Do you want to save the placenta? Okay. These next three, save the placenta, circumcision, and vaccinations. These three are something that we have to keep repeating to your care providers, because once they happen, you can't really go back. You know, you can't take a circumcision back. You can't take vaccinations back. And once this placenta's gone, it's gone. So, do you want to, going back, saving your placenta, do you want to have it encapsulated? Do you want to do a tincture? Is there something along those lines? Are you wanting to just do a placenta print? All of those things included in your birth plan. Circumcision, yes, no, either way, include that in your birth plan. Vaccinating, look up the different vaccinations. Are you okay with all of them? Are you not okay with any of them? There's also erythromycin and vitamin K. Those are two different options. They're not really vaccinations, but they are something to consider after. Pacifier, sugar water, formula. This is to be considering if you and baby get separated. If there's a C-section. If there's a C-section or something's wrong with baby, are you wanting them to do formula and do pacifier and use all these as like just in case, or are you wanting to pump and then them give the pumped milk in a bottle form? What are you thinking on that? Are you the one that wants to give the bottle to the baby? You need to be including this in your birth plan. Delayed bath. Are you thinking, hey, I want to have a delayed bath so that I can rub that goodness into the baby? Or are you thinking, I cannot touch that baby until it's cleaned? These are important things, okay? Especially if you want the delayed bath, you need to include that in your birth plan. Most of the time, they will just naturally rub it off the baby, and do the bath early. So you just need to include that if that's something you really are passionate about. Do you want to be at the bath? That's another thing. Are you wanting to give your baby the first bath, or are you saying, I can't be touching the baby with that, and I want some time to recover? Both of those are okay. Just include it in your birth plan. Lactation consultants. Are you going to have a doula? Are you going to have a real lactation consultant? Are you going to use the one who works at the hospital? Do you want a nurse to help you with lactation consulting? Or are you like, I got this, I got 3 kids, I'm good? What are you thinking? Just include that in your birth plan if you are wanting something specific. How often would you like the baby? This is becoming not so much of an option anymore, because a lot of hospitals are saying, I want mama to have baby as much as possible, okay? And but they usually have a nursery available as well. So what are you thinking? Are you thinking, I just want a break after here, so I want the baby to go to the nursery while I'm sleeping? Are you thinking, I want to have the baby in the room the entire time? Or are you thinking, hey, I would like the baby in the nursery at night and then with me during the day, and then they just wake me up if the baby needs fed, or maybe they feed the baby? What are you thinking? What are you envisioning for postpartum? Okay, down at the very bottom, and as a doula, I view this as very important. The healthiest thing that you can do when deciding about your birth plan, you need to be keeping your mind open to having to change the plans. You need to set your goals and your desires and think, this is what I want to have happen. However, if it changes, that's okay. And you have to be okay with that, because if you are so set on a goal and it doesn't happen, it can ruin that experience, which can affect you in the future with kids. So you need to set those goals, and be very specific about what you want, and that's okay. However, if it doesn't happen, you also need to be okay with that. That's the healthiest way to approach your labor and delivery experience. All right, guys, that's all for today. If there's something that you are like, hey, you didn't include this on the birth plan ideas, let me know so I can include that for other mamas. I would also love if you had questions, even if you're not my client. I would love for you to send me an email. Hit me up on the contact section here, hit me up on Facebook, whatever. I would love to help you out with that. All right, have a great day, guys.